Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're going to talk about the 9.1 update. Because you may or may not know this, but in the upcoming update, Wargaming is doing a lot of changes on tier 10, which means that some of them are going to be disappointing and some of them are going to become OP. And in today's video, I'm going to propose you 4 tanks that you definitely want to check out in the upcoming update. Let's go. The first thing we got to talk about is the Concept 1B. This tier 10 American collector tank that was available last Christmas as a special event is going to be definitely a beast for 2 reasons. The first is that Wargaming is going to improve the overall cannon of that thing. They are increasing the accuracy, or decreasing I should say, in order to make it more precise. You also are gonna have a huge reload buff because it's gonna lose 0.3 seconds of reload, which means that right now we're reloading with 8.1 seconds and we're gonna drop down to 7.8. So the overall DPM of the tank is going to be increased. Of course, it doesn't come only with upsides. You also have some downsides, some of them being that the overall armor of the turret is going to be decreased, but not too much to be something to worry about. On top of that, they are also going to touch a little bit the mobility of the tank, not the speed, but rather the turret traverse speed by only 4 degrees, which is not necessarily something you are gonna notice. So hopefully, yeah, in definitive, we get this tank combined with an amazing gun buff. And to be honest, knowing that this is probably one of the greatest tanks to hold down with, it's definitely gonna be some good use because I love my Concept 1B and I'm sure that a lot of you that have the tank likes it as well. But unfortunately, yeah, it's a collectible, and when you have a collectible, you know that it's a little bit of a struggle to get it for free or to get it overall. Number 2, still going on with the Americans, because we talk about the T57 Heavy, a tier 10 heavy American tank that is available for free because it's in the tech tree. So what is going to be impressive about this one is that Wargaming is totally going to differentiate both the AMX-50B, the counterpart from the French tech tree, and the T57 Heavy. Because nowadays, the role of the T57 Heavy as an autoloader is still to be able to bounce shots from time to time. It's a tank that will forgive you your mistakes, not like a 50B that doesn't have any armor, to be honest. So what is Wargaming gonna do on this tank? It's quite simple. They are going to decrease the overall hull armor by a lot, like something like 51 millimeters, which is truly huge, which means that it's going to be easier than ever to penetrate your hull, but it comes with a great upside. They are gonna buff extremely hard the turret, like 33 to 51 millimeters depending on where you're shooting at. And trust me, it's quite a lot because it means that most tanks will not be able to penetrate the T57 Heavy without gold shell anymore. And if it's the case, it's definitely going to help that tank quite a lot, because I want to remind you that this thing has 10 degrees of gun depression, so you are quite versatile when it comes to playing all down. And well, all of those little specificities combined, you get yourself a beast. And finally, something that will truly differentiate both the 50B and the T57 Heavy. So if you don't have it already, guys, I think that it's time for you to get it. And especially if you're looking for or interested into an auto-loading mechanism, if it's your first one, I feel like after the 9.1 update, the T57 Heavy is definitely going to be a great choice. Number 3, the Badger, the tier 10 British collectible tank destroyer. Out of all the 9.1 buffs and nerfs, this one is getting the most out of the buffs. Why? Because Wargaming is simply gonna lower down the reload time by 1 second, so you're gonna have 7.1 seconds of reload instead of the 8.1 I currently have. You are also gonna have a better mobility because they are increasing both the top speed and the hull traverse speed by 10 degrees, so trust me, it's huge. And to finish off with all of that, they are also increasing the armor profile of the front by 25 millimeters, which means that this tank is going to become once more an impossible one to penetrate, at least on the top hull. For example, here, and this is the perfect example, you saw that the 50B managed to penetrate my upper plate, especially those 2 areas right there, which are supposed to be weak spots for the moment. After the next update, you can say bye-bye to those spots because it's it's going to be impossible to penetrate them. So in definitive, I feel like out of the list I'm making right now, the Badger is probably going to be the tank you want, and probably that Wargaming will sell it again in the upcoming update because they know YouTubers and also statistics are hyping the tank out. So definitely, if you have a Badger already, or if you sold it and you want to get it back in order to play it in the 9.1 update, please make sure to do it, because I'm pretty sure that you're not going to be disappointed. If you know how to deal with the poor mobility, because that tank doesn't have the best mobility ever, you will not struggle and you will get a lot of fun, because in my opinion, the Badger is the tank destroyer that is going to become meta in the 9.1 update. And the last tank we need to talk about is the Foch 155, the French tier 10 tank destroyer that is also available in the tech tree. This one is going to be a little bit special because the overall reload time is going to be decreased by 1 second, which means that it's gonna artificially increase your DPM. But on top of that, it comes with a downside, being that they are gonna increase a little bit your gun dispersion. Is it truly problematic? In my opinion, no, because with a Foch 155, you are supposed to be a hard hitter at short distance. And knowing that at short distance, the game doesn't really care about your gun dispersion, you should not struggle doing the job anyway, which is a nice thing. Of course, the main problem is still that freaking gun dispersion, gun depression, because as you can see here, it was really a struggle. But still, it's definitely worth checking it out. It's already a great tank to play with, but in the next update I feel like it's going to remain the same. So yeah, you know what to do, just pray the RNG and get back on track in order for you to unleash the hell on your opponents. Now, of course, I'm in a live battle, so I'm gonna keep playing with my little fella right there. And I'm also gonna tell you 1 or 2 things about the tank, and specifically about the 9.1 update, because a lot of things are going on in the game right now. The 9.1 update is the perfect example of Wargaming wanted to either revolutionize the game by implementing a huge number of buffs and nerfs at the same time, but it's not only this, it's also the possibility for Wargaming to test out new things. And if they do it properly, I feel like it's gonna give some fresh air to the game. I'm gonna get completely right here, yeah. I was expecting that.